Welcome back, y'all. This is for all you Earth signs out there. So this reading is going to be for the Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. So we're going to look at the energy, see where it's at, see what the universe needs to tell you, and we're just going to go from there. Whatever shows up, shows up. All right. So let's just see what we have going on. The theme is you're kind of stuck in the past. You're stuck on nostalgia, which isn't a bad thing per se, but for whatever reason is it you have something you keep thinking about and it's bringing you a lot of peace right now. And it's because you're really thinking about family, right? How things used to be, how things used to be very happy. Okay. And what brought you to this point? Why are you having such strong feelings around this? Because it's 2 cup cards. So it's very emotional for you right now. And when you look at the number 2, you have a 16. And that's funny because the 16 is a 1 and a 6 energy, which means that you've been thinking about something new, something that's going to change, something to do differently, and you want that harmony, but you have to assess it, and you're looking at the past to kind of understand it. So it might even be with your immediate family, what I'm kind of feeling here. And what has brought you to this point, the energy, is that you have been deadlocked. You've been stuck, in your own mind. You can't just really get out of this rut. You see in the card here, you're standing in the mud. That means you feel kind of like you just can't catch a break. Maybe you feel humiliated about something. I don't know. But standing in the mud or in the mire is of a sign of like you just don't know how to break free. Well, the first thing you have to realize is that you got to take the blindfold off. Just rip it off. And when you do that, then you can see things for what they are, but you're hiding. You're hiding behind the veil. And again, you have a 5 and a 3 energy. So it's kind of like saying that you are having some struggles that are keeping you from growing. You're thinking about family, the past, how things really were. And instead of really making the change, you're just going along with whatever it might be. That's the 8. You're just rolling with it. You're not really doing what you want to do. Blindfolds on. You don't know how to break free from that energy because it's again another mind card is that it feels like you're almost being controlled by somebody else. It's almost like their will is being placed on you and you want to just be done with it. And you notice how it's looking in the future is saying that I don't know if I can take much more of this. I have to get over it. And that's probably why you're going to the past to look for clues to break free from the mental games. Now, normally this is a very positive card because when it's in this position here, it's like the future is like you use your mind. You can be very clear, very sharp, very shrewd. You can move forward, not worry about anything. Use your wisdom that you gained. You're emotionally balanced. But because the way these 2 cards lay out, it still feels very heavy to me, right? So it's almost like something or someone's controlling you. And again, back to emotions again. It's like you want to have that peace, you want to have that freedom, but you don't know how to even be happy anymore. And that's why you keep going to the past. What's heavy on your mind is the judgment card upside down. So it's like, yeah, you just cannot lift yourself out of the grave. You can't just rise up again. You're being blocked. You're being blocked by heartache. So it's almost like somebody is not being fair with you. So it basically is breaking your mind so bad that it's breaking your heart. So when I say heartache, it's because the mind snapped. It can't take anymore. So you don't feel like you have growth anymore in this relationship. It almost feels like it's a relationship, not so much family. It's almost like you're looking to almost feels like you're looking to your childhood in a sense, or your past, or maybe where you were at one point in time, how it was really happy. And then now what's bringing you here is that maybe the person or people you're around are not being kind. They're cruel in their intentions, their words they speak to you. And because of that, it's clouding your vision. You can't really see straight, even though it's the king. It's almost like manipulating the emotions. So you're just feeling completely out of sorts on it. And because of that, you have to accept this. You have to accept, but you don't want to because you don't want to move forward because it'll be too painful. And what's run underneath all this is the Knight of Pentacles. So this month is funny. Almost every sign I've read for, money's been the problem. And it feels like you feel if you do say hell with it, right, and break free, then you're going to have a hard time supporting yourself. Knight of Pentacles. There's like no new income, no new streams coming. That's what's really holding you back. And that's why you don't know how to address the problem because you're kind of afraid. Yeah. Because then maybe then they will act differently towards you if they really knew the truth, how you're feeling. But here's a problem. Unless you speak up, they're not a mind reader. They don't know you're in this kind of like a state of depression in a sense. 8, right? 5 and 3. They don't maybe realize that you want to change. Maybe you may want to leave because things just aren't working out. Head games maybe. It's taking away your peace, your happiness, your joy. And so you're afraid that in your subconscious mind that if you say anything, then the relationship isn't going to do very well and that it's going to just basically break you. 4 of Swords. You won't be able to rest. You're going to be a little bit in some turmoil. And the 4 and the 2 is a 6. So it's almost like you'll then become even more imbalanced. I'm reading this in the shadow way of reading it. So that's how I'm seeing these 3 cards at the bottom. Now we're going to pull a few oracle cards. I just want to see what it has to say on this reading. Oh, it's pretty heavy. A lot of swords, a lot of cups, a lot of emotions, a lot of mind. You're really thinking things through, trying to figure out how to free yourself from the chaos. Thought, yeah, see, everything's pointing back to the mind. You're stuck. You're stuck in your thoughts. You're going to have to just find a way to get over that, right? Shadow self. Free yourself. Be who you want to be. Don't act for anybody else. Be true to yourself. Sometimes you got to let that shadow out. How do you do that? You take off the blindfold and then you take back the control to your emotions, right? You hold the power. You wield the sword, right? You do that. And then you'll have a little bit of happiness and then the heart will open up. So don't stay in the past too long because it'll keep the blindfold on way too long. So even though things were good, can they get back that way? Of course they can. But you're going to have to be true to yourself and be you and stop pleasing other people all the time. But you got to do it with grace, balance, right? You got to do it with compassion. Just don't snap and use that sword of the knight, the king of sword. Don't do that. It just turn into a fight. More mental anguish, more emotional turmoil, and then you're not going to be able to change your position. You're going to stay buried in the grave. Okay? So you got to have a little bit of grace on how you deal with the situation. And then reflect. God, look, the cards are lining up. 6 of Cups and the reflection in the Oracle card. But it's not really so much reflecting as in like the past. I think it's more like reflecting on the current situation. How do I move forward? How do I get to the next point without escalating into pure war, right? Because the King of Swords, very sharp. But you got to be sharp. You got to take the blindfold off so you can see all your options. Reflect a little bit on like what you want changed and then have that tough conversation with the person so that you won't be kept up, so that you will be able to rest. Because right now, this is all about, getting away from a battle. Upside down is like you're kind of in it. And you see the 3 swords up is like it's all around communication. The 1 sword to the side is like you just don't even want to defend yourself, but you have to. So it's always like a fight with this other person. Well, it's time to like reflect on how to change that so you don't keep getting caught up in this turmoil and don't let the money get the best of you either. That's the problem. And right now, everybody's having a hard time because things are tight. Now let's go ahead and run some dice here. What did I say earlier in this reading? Remember I said peace, harmony, balance? That's a 6. And how you find it is you have to work through the struggles of 5. 1, you find new ways to work through the five, through the problem. So a five can become freeing. So you can then have balance and peace once again. Anyway, that's the reading I have for you. And if you enjoyed it, let me know. If you want a private reading, wordofthetwist.com, book it, and I'll see you there. Anyway, I want to see everybody in my next reading. All right. Bye, everybody.